Young people across San Diego are taking to the streets for the Fridays for Future protest. The protests are a call to action for politicians to pass legislation to fight climate change.
NBC7's Kelvin Henry spoke with protesters across the city about why this is important. He joins us now live. Kelvin.
And now, guys, a few things are clear. A few things that were very abundantly clear is that those protesters are passionate. They say they want to see action happen right now. And also, they say they will continue speaking out because climate change is important to us all.
What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now!
From the ground and from the air, you can see young people of San Diego marching for climate change.
We are unstoppable! Another world is possible!
San Diego 350 Youth Program Coordinator Megan Phelps says this is urgent.
Youth are outraged and afraid for our futures.
Phelps says the message is clear.
That Governor Newsom end oil extraction in California altogether, and that we transition to renewable energy as fast as possible at all levels of government.
California recently passed a bill banning the sale of gas-powered cars after 2035. Phelps says more is needed.
That is a great step, but unfortunately it's not fast enough, and that's a promise that's being made after Governor Newsom's term ends. So we are asking that President Biden declare a climate emergency at the national level.
Thousands are expected to take part in marches across the country and world, and the youth say they believe their voices are being heard.
I think more and more politicians are listening to youth voices because they're so clear in their insistence for a better future.
According to Phelps, if action is taken, we would see less severe weather patterns and events.
We would be able to avert dangerous heat waves and fires and droughts like the ones we're experiencing right now.
And now I spoke with many people off camera that say that they will continue making sure they're calling action to this, and also they're planning more events for the future. But for now, live in downtown, Kelvin Henry, NBC7.
This was a day of climate action around the world, and here in San Diego, it was young people who took the lead. They were on strike and marching in the streets, many with support from their schools. KPBS education reporter MG Perez was there.
What do we want? Climate justice!
On the streets of Chula Vista, high school students march with their messages, demanding cleaner air and no fossil fuels, right alongside college and graduate students, too. They all want solutions to global warming and not more problems.
Our history has been washed and watered down.
22-year-old Priscilla La Chapa is a community college student and this year's Miss Kumeyaay Nation. She has plenty to say about the climate crisis and how it affects her community on the Rincon Reservation.
Our riverbed plants, our mountain plants are not able to survive because it's too hot up in the mountains and it's too dry down by the riverbeds.
The protest signs repeat what the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reported this year. North America had its warmest summer ever.
We want policy, not empty promises.
That was enough to bring even more students to Waterfront Park in downtown San Diego this afternoon. They want the attention of local and international lawmakers. In other words, the adults in charge of making change.
We have set up a world that they're going to inherit the most negative impacts of climate change. So their voices need to be centered on these issues so we can protect their futures.
As discouraging as global warming statistics might be, this is not a death march. Organizers say the situation is serious. It is not hopeless. Many of these students are putting their education where their mouths are.
We have so many youth like here today who are advocating and making sure that this will be an issue that we talk about and that we make sure is declared as an emergency and not just seen as like a passerby.
Along with the hope and the hollering, there is also creative thinking among this younger generation.
Eat more crickets! And there you have it. These are the cricket bars.
Oswald Harris graduated from UC San Diego this year and wants to help slow climate change with his new protein-filled food made from crickets, which he says will feed more humans and reduce waste. It's still under development. MG Perez, KPBS News.
Students took to the streets of San Diego today in a global day of youth climate strikes. Sky Fox, captured these shots earlier this morning in front of Chula Vista City Hall. Students from more than a dozen schools across San Diego County voicing their demands today, which include an immediate transition to renewable energy, that the president declare a national climate emergency, and that Governor Newsom end oil extraction in the state. They joined similar protests demanding climate action in Asia, Africa, and Europe as part of youth activist Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future movement.
Información muy valiosa e importante. Y hablando de los jóvenes precisamente, hoy alumnos de todo el país, incluyendo Chula Vista y otras ciudades del condado, abandonaron sus aulas, y esto en un paro de estudiantes. Vea. Lo hicieron para unirse a la demanda y la campaña global de justicia climática y un futuro libre de contaminación. Cerca de un centenar de jóvenes marcharon precisamente por las principales calles de la ciudad de Chula Vista rumbo a la alcaldía para plantar hacia ahí y sus preocupaciones, hacerlas escuchar, y también el tipo de futuro que ellos quieren.
Me preocupo mucho porque creo que todavía necesitamos hacer mucho más para tener un ambiente mejor para el futuro y para los estudiantes que estaban aquí hoy.
Porque ahorita todos los jóvenes están luchando por un planeta para que ellos puedan, y sus hijos de ellos puedan seguir viviendo y existiendo.
Un grupo más grande, que incluyó también a los de colegios comunitarios y preparatorias, se manifestó en las calles del centro de San Diego por el mismo sentir. Llegaron hasta las oficinas del condado. Ahí ambas marchas se llevaron de manera pacífica para concientizar a más personas precisamente en este Día Internacional.